Welcome back to a very heavy slice of Britain. Because for 20 points this week, you can go ahead and pick up the Bentley Flying Spur from 2021. As a Brit, this makes me happy. So this thing starts out with a whopping 626 brake horsepower, 663 foot-pounds of torque, and it weighs a whopping 5,373 pounds. This thing is very, very heavy indeed. But by all accounts, it does look very, very nice indeed. The front of it reminds me heavily of the more recent Bentley Continental GT. Going to the side, it looks honestly just like pure luxury, and to the back, it honestly looks fantastic. I really, really do like it indeed. Going to the inside, it is pretty nice, all smooth and luxurious. And also, I believe they're all digital gauges in front of us as well, which is all pretty cool indeed. And now let's go ahead and take a listen. So here on the upgrade shop, the first thing we're doing is jumping straight over to conversion and of course over to engine swaps, where we've got quite a fair few waiting for us. We've got ourselves a 6.7 V8 turbo diesel, we've got ourselves a 6.2 litre V8, we also have a 5.2 litre V10, a racing 3 litre inline-six turbo, we have a 6.5 litre V12, we also have ourselves a 7.7 litre V12, a 7.4 litre V8 twin turbo, and also the 6 litre W12 twin turbo as well. Okay, that's a lot to go through, but don't worry, we've still got more, because you can also go ahead and make this thing rear-wheel drive, should you wish to. In terms of aero and appearance, let's go ahead and take a look at the front, where we've got nothing but just a little bit of plastic and a tow hook, and of course, going to the back should be... yep. Sadly, it's just the Forza wing. You'd have thought with a car this nice, they'd have put some more work into customization, but I think all the budget went on the Nissan Nismo Z. Nismo Z, Nismo Z, I don't know, it's one of them. However, our local mechanic Mac is back once again with a tune just called Heavy, so let's go ahead and bring up the share code very quickly. There it is, feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself, and we're going to do that about now. So with these upgrades applied, we're now at £4,143, a bit lighter than before, but with a bit less horsepower at 487. So with those upgrades applied, we're now over at the paint shop. There's nothing in advance like normal, but let's go ahead and take a look at the manufacturer colours, where we've got ourselves 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to choose from, and I've got to say, I don't know why, but I think the purple kind of works. You know, it's very rare I ever see purple as a manufacturer colour these days. Okay, so here we are now loading in with the Bentley Flying Spur. I've got to say, it is quite the car indeed. And also, fun fact, since the last clip, it's been literally 2 days because Forza decided it did not want to work. Anyway, let's go ahead, skip this loading screen and get straight into the racing. And away we go. We're now up against a whole bunch of other various assorted vehicles, so we need to try and get this Bentley Flying Spur out to finish in first place. At the moment, we're currently getting overtaken by a BMW, so we're not off to a great start, but I'm hoping that this seems to be good enough to take us from 9th all the way into first, hopefully before we cross the finish line. If we end up in first after the finish line, I'll be very confused. Now, there's been quite a fair few of the Bentley Flying Spur made, roughly around 40,000, with each individual one being handmade and taking up to 100 hours to put together, which is, honestly, if you ask me, absolutely insane. Also, if I sound different compared to the start of the video, I'm currently a little bit ill, but we're working on that. In the meantime, if you wanted one of these brand new for yourself, you've got to have very deep pockets, because these things cost a whopping $218,000 US, which is, honestly, for this thing, very expensive. In case you're wondering, this is how much it is in pounds sterling. Right, 95% through the race, one more turn to go. Let's go ahead and get this thing across the line with a slight bounce off the wall, and across we go, somehow getting this almighty behemoth up to first place with a time of 2 minutes and 12.166. So it's quite an interesting race indeed. It did get very close at the end, but in the meantime, let's go ahead and take a look at the Horizon backstage. As you can see, I've cast my vote already, but these are the cars currently up for grabs. Which one would you choose? Let me know in the comments. In the meantime, our wonderful mechanic Mac is back once again with a brand new drag build for this thing, so let's go ahead and bring up the share code very quickly. There it is, feel free to go ahead and grab that for yourself, and I'm going to go and do that right now. So with those upgrades applied, we're now at just a shade over £3,780 in weight, with a whopping 1,750 brake horsepower. This thing's going to be mad. Or rather, I hope it will, because it's still very heavy. So here we're now over at the back of the Festool. Let's go ahead and give this thing a wheelie check. I'm not expecting much. I stand corrected. I very much stand corrected indeed. Right, nearly 1,800 brake horsepower. We're here at the drag strip. We're on launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we can get out of this thing through the camera. I'm hoping for something pretty good indeed, maybe around 200 mark, or at least I'm really hoping it'll be a 200 mark. This thing is very heavy after all, but we go through the camera at 205, and off the end of the runway at 230. As per tradition, still can't break though. And so here we are now back in the upgrade shop. It is our turn to have a little bit of fun with this thing, so we're going to go ahead and of course slap straight back in that 1750 brake horsepower motor. We're also going to go ahead and leave the rear wheel drive swap alone. We're going to keep this thing all wheel drive because we're going to try and aim for a little bit of a top speed build. But you know us, it wouldn't be a proper top speed build if it didn't have a little bit of anti-lag. Oh, and also some good tyres too. Yeah, that looks good to me. And now I've got to sit here and tune the whole car. I'll be back in just a couple of seconds. And you know what? Let's change up the paint as well. Yeah, now that I like. Before we go any further, here is this week's Forzathon shop. We've got the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento for 750 Forzathon points. We've got ourselves a backstage pass, the holiday jumper, the Lamborghini Aventador Super Veloce or Super Veloce. I don't know which one's right. You're going to have to let me know in the comments on that one. We've also got the red nose up here, the Horizon Super Wheel Spin, and the regular Horizon Wheel Spin as well. And now, out to the motorway. Okay, now it's time to play everybody's favourite game throughout all my car showcase videos of how close can we get to the motorway grate. And today, let's see how close are we. We are, honestly, not too far off. There we go, that wasn't too much of a hassle. Right, let's go ahead, get ourselves on launch control, and away we go. Let's go ahead and see what we can get with 1750 brake horsepower. I'm really hoping it's going to be something good. Especially seeing as this thing's already hit 230, and that's just on the drag strip. And to the speed zone we go, 270.22, and this thing is still going. I guess they call it the flying spur for a reason. Totally nailed that in the first try. And through the camera, 274.24, going downhill, 275, 276, 277, 278, and then trees, fences, barriers, and oh, that's not gone well. But you know what could go well? Yep, you guessed it, throwing this thing sideways. So into the drift zone we go. Let's go ahead and see what the flying spurt can do. I'm hoping for something pretty good indeed. There's a lot of power to this thing. It is also very, very heavy, so it should be able to slide more. 41,596 points and 1 dent. I'm sure that'll buff out, right? Okay, now time for round number 2. Can we beat 41,000? I doubt it. We are very sideways in the bridge, but let's try and see if we can recover it. At least aim for 30k. We get 32,574. To be fair, I remember most even got that. In the meantime, that is this video on the Bentley Flying Spur. What a car indeed. Is only 20 points and shouldn't take you too long to get either. Honestly, I would definitely recommend going ahead and picking this thing up, even if it's just a fun little car to add to the collection. But I prefer the fact that it can do 278. But in the meantime, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe, all that cool stuff. And as ever, thank you very much for watching. Tech out. See ya! This car looks right at home here.